So, you say you harbor no ill will towards Mariah May. No, none at all. What about the writing on the back of that gift you gave to her? Didn't it say, "Die, Mariah, die"? Oh no, darling, you totally misunderstood. It's German for "the Mariah, the." Ooh, nobody who speaks German could be evil and timeless. Charges dismissed. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. I hope that everybody in the path of Hurricane Debbie, if you're an MST3K fan, you are dying laughing, and I hope everybody is staying as safe as possible. Those that decide to brave the potential monstrous storm, we're able to witness the near 5-year anniversary of AEW on TNT, TBS, Warner Bros. Discovery, whatever amalgamation you want to go with. And as the TV negotiations roll on and on and on, and the negotiations don't stop till the break of dawn, I don't know how they're going because I'm not Miley Cyrus's fly on the wall. Bet you didn't expect that goddamn reference. But I'm here to talk about the fact that, 3,000 or so people went into an arena that holds roughly 5 times that. To be fair, weather, totally understandable if you want to take care of your friends and family and make sure that your home's still standing. Those that went there were able to see MJF, the American champion, or the America's champion. He's the champion of all the USA. With the giant flag with his face, replacing the stars. Apparently he wrestled in CMLL recently. Okay, good for him. Will Ospreay is backstage, and boy, MJF just went full-on Lex Luger. Except his shirt wasn't too tight, Billy, and he actually won a championship and didn't have balloons and streamers drop like he had won the goddamn presidency and solved every world war ever. So it's made in the USA Friedman against Kyle Fletcher. AEW American Championship Eliminator. Don Callis said Kyle Fletcher is a future world champion. In what universe? I have nothing against Kyle Fletcher, but seriously, look, I did like how MJF basically was stalling and playing the cowardly heel, but then he targeted the arm, setting up for the salt of the earth. It was smart. Fletcher isn't bad. I will say that MJF played to his strengths, which is not necessarily as a singles wrestler, but he teased a kangaroo kick, but he got stopped. There was a tope, and then MJF waited forever for a dive to be hit, and then a barricade collision, and he knocked a guy's hat off. Ooh. And I like MJF, don't get me wrong. But a dive, over the barricade to a pop. They went into the crowd for a bit, and then we got a sky elbow back in the ring. And, more arm focus, basically, every time Fletcher seemed like he was going to get either hit the tombstone or hit a big move. He got stopped. The hammerlock DDT for 2. Shivani and Callis were arguing. It's starting to kind of annoy me because Shivani can be a good commentator. But there are times where his commentary is kind of actually getting on my nerves. So there was a destroyer right into Fletcher hitting a lariat. There is such a thing as adrenaline. It was a song by Bush. And yeah, come on, it's getting ridiculous here. So they're battling up top. We get a roll-up for 2. We then get a tombstone for 2. And Callis then runs down and throws the screwdriver at Fletcher and distracts the referee. Apparently the referee can't see the bright yellow screwdriver handle, but he won't do it. He gets hit with a low blow and then gets, basically hit with a kangaroo kick and a brainbuster 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. Pretty much the highlight of the goddamn show, for being perfectly honest. Ospreay was locked into the goddamn room, except the door clearly could be opened, but equipment cases are blocking him. MJF then hit the referee with the belt, for whatever reason, and then hit a ring shot on Kyle and busted him open. And then, basically, Will comes out and stops MJF. The doctor's checking on him. The blood gets all over Will's shirt, bruv. And so far, okay, not that bad. We then get a Bryan Danielson and Jeff Jarrett package. Ricky Steamboat chimes in. And then we get the glamour Mariah May, who is sinking her teeth into this role. Taking on Viva Van, and she beats the shit out of her. Mariah beats the shit out of Viva Van. Anytime Viva even got a sniff of an opportunity of momentum, she got shut down. This went through a break for some reason. Maybe because the first match went so long without having a break. But She hit her with a kiss, and then up with a knee, and then Mayday, and then Storm 0, 1, 2, 3. And then Mariah got a gift. It was a picture from Toni, and then it had the sign on the back, Die Mariah Die, and then Toni Storm shows up in her Michael Myers best, and they get a pull apart and everything, so, okay. There you are. We're gonna pull apart there. I will say that at least they're trying to build this up well, and it's kind of funny. Rick Knox is that close to a woman that he didn't have to pay, so that must have been unusual for him. That being said, doing okay. And then the Jack Perry pre-tape or vignette. It was interrupted by a Taco Bell ad, and I don't even like Taco Bell, and I'm willing to buy stock in Taco Bell because they interrupted Jack Perry talking. I know he said stuff. I don't care. So, Darby is in a pink bathrobe and talking about facing Jack Perry. And then the Bad Apple Brian Keith. Boy, there's a core problem here, taking on Shibata. Jericho's on commentary. Shibata won. You think I'm going to listen to Jericho on commentary? I'm not going to listen to any noise from Jericho unless it's his death rattle in front of his family. So, yeah, he won. First, he hit the Iron Claw and then got the armbar, and then the various Jericho idiots showed up. Brian Keith is toast to me. I don't get the appeal. But Hook showed up and even the odds. So we're getting that match at All In, I assume. And, yeah, then we get an Orange Cassidy promo. Then we have Hangman talking about justice delayed is justice, denied. He is trying way too hard and it is not working. He's trying to talk himself into it, and I can tell. They have tried with Hangman for 5 goddamn years. He hit his peak. He ain't ever going to be more than he is. JR interviews Swerve. Swerve talked about Bryan Danielson, what happens when his body gives out, what happens when this, I'm going to beat him. He doesn't have a chance to beat me. He's broken down. And Swerve did great here. I love JR. I respect the fuck out of JR. JR has been through numerous health issues. Like from, I believe, his first bout with Bell's palsy and sometime in 94, and he's had those, and especially ever since his wife Jan passed away. That was just about 7 years ago, or just about 7.5 years ago. He's been through a lot of stuff. He's had cancer scares. He's had cancer treatments. He's had a bunch of other stuff. He should not be on television. He sounded lost. And I imagine the spirit is willing, but the body is just ready to say no. Just no. I'm worried that this is JR near the end like Bobby Heenan was. And I'm not wishing it. I'm not trying to sound evil or callous or mean. JR should not be on television. I'm legit fucking worried about him. They had to pre-tape this because he seemed lost. I feel so bad for him. So Swerve apparently is going heel, I guess. Whatever. He's always been kind of a tweener as it is. So then, Orange Cassidy couldn't get Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly, I assume. I think that's who it was supposed to be. I didn't listen to the pre-tape. But they had travel issues. So FTR teamed up with Orange Cassidy. Seriously? Whatever. They took on Rush, Roderick Strong, and Son of Mantar. Which, by the way, if he actually did deal with the canned pasta goods, he would be Chef Boy Tardy. Yeah, I tried to make that work last time, and let's see if it works this time. So, yeah, this went through 2 breaks, and Rush got pinned after 15 minutes. It has Orange Cassidy. Why would I watch it? It also has people that I just don't care about. I do not care about anybody on the heel side. The Acclaimed show up, but the mic was cut out, and we get another pull apart. FTR and the Acclaimed. Didn't the Acclaimed have a title shot against the Bucks? Have the Bucks defended their titles since weighing them at Dynasty? I'm asking, seriously. I know the Acclaimed won an Eliminator match. So, we had trio stuff on Collision, House of Black, and the Gangbang Gang wanting to take down the Patriarchy. Shayna Wayne, my goodness. What a lovely woman she is. And I'm happy for Nick Wayne. I'm really, really happy for him being a champion. This is a good way to bring him along on a national stage. And there's going to be a match between the House of Black and the Gangbang Gang. And Christian's going to be the special guest referee, which means we're going to end up getting to a 3-way match because Christian's going to screw it up, and we're going to get whoever the authority figure is to basically say, no, we're going to do this. Probably going to be Daniels. Whatever. I don't mind Christian stuff. The father stuff's kind of getting old, though. So anyway, hologram highlights, from like the one match he's had. Camille, along with Mercedes in the corner, took on Jasmine Howe and Clara Carter. Clara Carter looked like she hadn't even gotten out of high school yet. I'm not even knocking. I have nothing against these two. I've never heard of them before. I imagine they're locals. It was a mauling, and she pinned them both. But oof, were they okay? Seriously. I mean, Camille can look like a beast. And then Mercedes talked. I don't want to hear Mercedes talk. I'm fucking done hearing this goddamn fake-ass actor pretend to be a wrestler. I mean, I'm sorry, but this stuff was starting to kind of wear thin in WWE at the very end. It sort of was working in a few appearances in New Japan and Stardom. I'm sorry. She's not cut out for this anymore. It's not even that, she's a heel, I want to see her get beat up. I don't want to see her at all. And Shivani says Britt has been reinstated. I want to say this much here. If it turned out that MJF marched into the women's locker room and did that stuff, if that actually happened, then he should have been suspended. But apparently, it is that Britt had complained about the length of the Ospreay MJF match, and Ospreay talked to her first. Now, if this is true, if that part is true, and MJF actually didn't do anything bad, then I don't know Britt need to be necessarily suspended, but Britt might need to be reminded that, this women's division has succeeded fine without you. You've regressed, and a lot of women have grown. I don't think that Britt is necessarily needed for this women's division. I just don't. She did say, well, I've been here since day one. The second things don't go your way, you take your ball and go home. Ooh. It sounds fine, except from her? From Britt? Somebody that got had her best matches with Thunder Rosa despite Britt not wanting to do business. Allegedly. Anyway, so we then get a package on Danielson. And Danielson and Jarrett had an anything goes match that was pretty stupid. Khan needs to show some restraint. Steamboat was on commentary. So Jarrett hits Danielson with his guitar because he needs to be prepared for anything. And then they go into the crowd, the concourse. Each gets suplexed on a trash can, but the trash can moves when Jarrett tries to do it. Or when Jarrett almost gets suplexed on it and looked like it jarred his back really bad. They go back in the ring. There's a chair on the leg briefly, like he was going to Pillmanize him. And then he did a spider superplex to avoid taking the impact on his back. And then he grabbed the chair and smashed it into Jarrett's knees to stop a figure four. Hits the Bukkake knee, 1, 2, 3. Jarrett got busted in the face because a chair popped into his face. So, yeah, that was a good job there. Not a good main event. I know that both these guys aren't what they once were. I don't mind giving an anything goes stipulation to a blood feud. And, yes, it's supposed to be like, Jarrett's preparing Danielson for anything. I mean, okay, but no, this didn't work. And then Steamboat comes to check on Jarrett, raises both their hands. Swerve then says, hey, we got to see Steamboat, we got to see Jarrett, two staples of TBS Wrestling, and then we got to see a third one, me. And he basically knocks Brian and says, you face somebody, but I want you to, everybody else is backstage. I want you to be front row center when I face Wheeler Yuta. You're supposed to hook people into wanting to watch next week's show, not put Swerve against. I'm sorry, nothing against Wheeler. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but they're trying with him. It's not believable. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about that. It wasn't a very good show. It wasn't an awful show. It started fine. Yeah, nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rickland. I'll see you soon.